watching Z420 TV, the future of cannabis broadcasting.
Hey there, party people. You're watching Grand Theft Audio. This is Jake Belcher.
And I am Brant Thoman.
And already, you can see from our new intro there that we've already made changes in studio. Brant, show off how fancy your digs are now.
Oh, yes.
And look at
Take
that.
a look at that.
There's no big cables coming down. And we can just have you come sit in the middle of it right now and get ourselves a shot that we'll cut into the promo next week.
Oh, yeah. No, that
So
that
look
was,
like you're arguing with somebody, like you're really giving them
like
shit.
I'm just giving him shit. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you talking about kind of thing?
Okay, turn your head the other way. Like, argue that way.
Argue this way.
Yeah,
well,
because we want your
oh,
face a little lighter.
I see. You're right. I got
We
the
want your
camera
face-
over
yep,
here.
We want your face a
So,
little lighter than that.
Just a second.
Okay. Yeah.
I gotta get there. We go. Make sure we got microphones up to the right level. So, but yeah, we've got that working out for us now. It's
and
quite
there's
nice.
no pointer in the middle of the screen now.
No pointer in the screen. I dig the infinity shot behind me.
So we'll add this to the intro now.
Good,
next
good.
Week, so it'll be better. I hate to do this to you people at home, but we are here in Hollywood, the land of fantasy and make-believe. I just heard the most asinine, ridiculous thing I've ever heard outside the studio right now. Brent, can you cut my mic and I can tell you what it is and you can tell me where that lands on the level of absurdity to you?
Okay, give me just a quick second here.
Thank you.
Okay, having just heard
Yes.
what you said has
Yes.
been detailed upstairs.
Oh, you motherfucker. Okay, yeah, sure. I didn't say where it came from, but yes.
Sure. But he's not watching the show anyway.
It's unlikely right now, but yeah.
And it's
hilarious.
I believe we have music on out there.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
But on the level of, I mean, it's delusional.
Delusional. I don't know what to think about that one. I'm going to think about it, though, for the rest of the show and what that could possibly mean for all of us. For all
of us, because I'm this is just...
Who can believe that? Who can
Yeah.
believe that? It's just craziness. But we have some new people who are in studio today. We have some new shows starting up here at Zena.tv next week. And
That's
it's gonna
right.
be a lot of fun. It's going to be more time of us helping other people get their point of view out. And we're here to get our points of view out.
Sure.
Or at least mine. I feel that I kind of Shanghai you into some...
No, you don't Shanghai me into anything.
Okay,
because
that's good.
I do have a mind of my own.
Sure,
I just
sure.
tend to shut up when there's something about it where I'm like, I don't know if I want to get myself wrapped up into this kind of thing. I don't think it's, I'll let you have that opinion on it, and I'll just sit here and smile and look pretty as best I can.
Yeah.
But
hey, man, I got some shit this week.
Okay.
That is literally... I haven't even told you what one of them is yet because I know you're not even going to want to do it.
Well, we'll see where it takes us.
All right.
We always do.
Sure. What else we got? Let's talk a little bit about our last week. Last week we got to go to Magic Mountain, one of the premier fun destinations in LA.
Absolutely. Had a great time. Thank you for the invite and the use of the bring a friend
well, thanks for coming.
day.
It was an awesome day in that there was nobody there.
There were no lines. I mean, we waited maybe all of 5 minutes at most for any one of the rides.
Sure. I mean, we could say that we waited a half hour on one line because it broke down, and
Right.
that was our commitment to being first in line.
Well, there was that, and also the fact that it was indoors and air conditioned, and there was nobody else in there sucking up the cold. So it was just you're able to sit down on a nice cold concrete floor for 20 minutes and just kind of chill out. It was not as hot as it is today here in LA.
Sure,
but it's definitely up
today
there.
in Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
it's.
I'm not going to wear it on the air, but I was wearing this today. to keep the okay. I'll wear it for 2 seconds.
You'll don it for 2 seconds.
For 2
right.
seconds. Yeah, the actual sweatband. I mean, I will wear a bandana all the time, and yeah, it's for sweat sometimes. But I needed something that was gonna make it so I didn't die in the car. It was just I got into it earlier, and it was just dripping down over my face, and it was just I want to die. I hate even complaining about it. Because weather has been a real MFer this week. I mean, like here in Los Angeles and much of California, we're dealing with some heat.
Excessive heat, yes.
It's hot. But here in America, in Houston, we've had a really bad, much worse weather situation for them than us. So it feels bad to just complain that it's hot. I mean, my electric bill is going to be expensive when I get it from
right.
air
But you still have an air conditioner.
That's right. So you feel really bad complaining about it, but it's terrible, guys. I mean, let's stop. No.
Well, it makes me wonder because there was so much about the Hurricane Sandy bills that were passed for disaster relief, and there were. I know that there was been talk about how both senators and several major Texans in the House voted against it because there was
crazy, man. The people who want to assign blame on this shit, there's people who are like, oh, this governor needs to step aside because he supported Trump taking us out of the Paris Accord. Like somehow that if we'd given money, then this accident would never fucking happen.
Sure, but I mean,
it's lunacy.
The argument that I'm hearing from the
Yes.
Texans is that there was a lot of wasteful spending on that. Fine, that's great as long as this new disaster.
But how does throwing any money at weather fix it? I mean, it's not going.
Oh no, I agree with you on that. I agree that anyone who's claiming that the fact that we backed out of the Paris Accords is the reason this is happening, that's really giving yourself up to that God has actually got his finger in the mix.
There's people who think that this happened to us because Texas voted for Trump. There's people who think that this happened there because the gays. I mean, basically anything that anyone will blame somebody for. Like someone's going to say happened to Houston because of that.
Well, just look at what happened with Joel Osteen and his mega church.
Yeah,
I mean, being called out.
I haven't followed a lot into that.
Okay, so
but it seems like it's a lot of people who are mad.
There are a lot of people who are mad at him
Yes.
specifically. They don't like him personally, and they hold him responsible for not opening the church, making the church available. There are so many different pictures that are flooding Facebook and the internet. So some showing there's flooding inside the building itself that made it unusable. Others that show, well, look, the roads to it weren't that bad. They could have easily gotten there.
I've also heard, where does he find the staff to come in and take care of it? Those people are all taking care of their own homes and their own things.
They're all trying to get out of the flood area as well. There really wasn't much that could be done.
There's a lot of problems here.
His statement was, our intention was to open it once the hurricane itself had passed. Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You don't want to be open in the middle of a hurricane.
Sure.
If
what if you move everybody there, and then that's where it decides to strike and go bad, and
right?
Do everything.
You got 50,000 people there that could potentially happen to, or nobody. And then when it's still standing,
Yes.
they can go there to get the relief that they need, which is what the plan for the church was in the first place.
But there's
so many angry little people who are going to blow the smallest thing out of proportion.
There's so many sides to it. There's get rid of the governor of Texas because he supports Trump and he's bad for our future of our what is it? Ecology?
Our environment.
Our environment. But he's the one who's out there saying you have to evacuate Houston. You have to go out there and flooding's happening, and then you have the local politicians it's fake news nonsense. You're gonna be fine. Don't bother evacuating. It's too big to evacuate. So the responsible thing to do would be okay, look, everybody doesn't have to evacuate, but if you're in a low flood area and you're in a place that is prone to water coming through,
which is all information they already have studied for decades, if not centuries.
Yes.
So to be able to sit there and say, all right, we are going to start evacuating. here's the area that's going to start to evacuate. We catch you trying to evacuate out of it, you're going to get held over until it's your turn, kind of thing. I mean,
if you're up on a hill, I mean, you probably don't need to evacuate. Like
immediately, right.
Right. I mean,
eventually, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, let's hope not. But we know that there's houses and communities and buildings and things that are in floodplains that they decided to build in those places. And now there'll be people who are like, oh, fuck Trump for getting rid of regulations. And there are. I've heard these people. Like, building in floodplains is wrong. But this has nothing to do with him, or even, it has nothing to do with the administration during the last 20 years. Like,
probably even farther back than that.
Probably, yeah. So like all these people that you want to sit there and like blame and yell at, like they didn't have shit really to do with this. You were just somebody who likes to get mad about things.
Right. And at some point, the land that those houses are sitting on was of value and was close enough to town to warrant, it may flood, but it's not always going to, so let's take a chance to put a house here. And it backfired this time. In an epic way. They're talking about this is like a 1 in 1,000 year kind of situation with flooding there, just because of the way it hit.
No doubt. I mean, it's the worst in American history. I mean, we say those things at disasters and all that stuff all the time, but this again seems like it has become worthy of the history of the worst in American history. So that's terrible. I feel terrible for Houston. Here's one thing that I feel great about. There are a shit ton of people who are packed on the highways, bringing boats and their trucks and supplies, and it's other people helping out the people that are hurt. It's not the government. The government doesn't do shit well. Like, the government's terrible at this. It is other people loving each other and taking care of each other, and there's just amazing shots of these highways in Texas where they're just loaded up, like cars with trailer, truck with trailer, all bringing in things to help, and that's incredible. I don't know what I'm going to do to help. I'm not going to be like Kevin Hart and say you have to give $25,000 as a celebrity. I don't want to put out some type of podcaster challenge. We have to give $25 because I don't have $25,000. $25 to me is probably $25,000 to Kevin Hart. It's probably even less than that. But anyways, look, we're going to go off to a commercial break, and I'm going to come back on the other side with why I even named this episode. So, bye-bye.
I'm live with Zenna.tv, and we are here at the world famous Whiskey A Go-Go with amazing artists all night.
You're watching Z420 TV. We take the high road.
Oh, all right, party people. Watching along on our Facebook feed, we have a couple of comments I'd like to get into. We have the world-class homie, Eamon Van Dyke, watching, saying, nice headband. I think he says it because he made this. So I think he's a little preferential in his, I can't make a headband, so he has me trumped in that area for sure. He also agrees that we can't really control Mother Nature with money. A couple questions. What about unemployment being down, being asked by one of our viewers?
Sure. Great. That's a good sign. It's not so much.
Take your shot.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's not so much that unemployment rates are the numbers are down. It's just the people who are asking for work has dropped off. So there could be people who are still unemployed who just aren't receiving those benefits.
Oh, I've heard that same thing said for the last 10 years. So I don't think that's accurate. I think that the actual percentage of people who are engaged in employment in our country is rising. It's like
I think when we
like
saw big drops,
29.7 or something like that is like the percentage of people who are considered out of the workforce, but it's down to like 28.9 or something. It's not a huge percentage,
right?
But the actual workforce is a little bit higher. Now, to stay on that shot for a second,
sure.
We have our listener asking, "Who is the other voice?" So this person is tuned into me. So
right.
Who are you?
I'm Brant Thoman.
All right.
Yes.
So let them know.
Okay, that's who I am.
That's who I am, Bill. Say it.
That's who I am, Bill. I'm Brant Thoman.
All right, great. So thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get into something else here that I saw this week that is just like, oh man, how much ass does one have to kiss and apologize for? And there's just you can't please everybody. Like, there is a group out there, you may have heard, they are called Black Lives Matter, and they generally go out and they protest pretty much everything. They can say that they are out there protesting Nazis, but they've been out there protesting a lot longer than, like, this current group of white supremacists that we all are afraid of have been getting together. They've been getting together, like, publicly and calling their events like, hey, freedom marches, for a very, very short amount of time. Black Lives Matter has been around a lot longer. I'm trying to figure out, like, what we can do to make, like, racial equality happen. I think they're saying that white lives matter, obviously, so Black Lives Matter also. So, like, let's talk about Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
This article, I'm going to read the beginning of it, okay? This says, this article is part of a package covering Louisville's reaction to Charlottesville. There are other pieces that you could read along in it called Black People Should Arm Themselves Now with an exclamation point, and America, Where Are You Going with the question mark. So you can find other hard-hitting pieces. Now, this piece right here is written by a Black Lives leader, Black Lives Matter leader, and it is 10 things that white people can do to be more fair to what they've done to black people in the past. I mean, it's a little, like, vague in what she actually thinks that this list is for, but still, this magazine, Brent, what was the name of the newspaper that put it out?
Leo Weekly,
yeah.
LEO, which is the part of the Louisville Arts and Entertainment. Let me get that here just a second.
So they're like a weekly newspaper. I come from the weekly newspaper background, so Pasadena Weekly,
Louisville's Art and Entertainment News, community-focused stories, and colorful local commentary since 1990.
So this is 10 things that white people should do for black people. White people, if you don't have any descendants, will your property to a black or brown family, preferably one that lives in generational poverty. I don't know. That seems... It's the most reasonable thing on this list. I mean, as it gets a little bit farther down, you're just like, what? Number 2, white people. If you're inheriting property that you intend to sell upon acceptance, give it to a black or brown family. Because...
Yeah, it's the second line that ruins this.
You're bound to make that money in some other white privileged way. I mean, obviously, like just because you're white, you're gonna make a house's worth of money more in the rest of your existence. I mean, duh. I mean, stupid of you. That's only number 2. Number 3. If you were a developer or realty owner of multi-family housing, build a sustainable complex in a black or brown blighted neighborhood and let black or brown people live in it for free. I mean, it's not even like give them like a fair rate or like just try not to make any money. Just like do it as like Gandhi, I guess, would like
help empower
yeah
a black or brown family.
Yeah,
by making it so that they don't have to spend money on rent or a mortgage.
Okay, but okay. Well, hey, luckily this is just number 3. Give it away for free. Number 4, white people. If you can afford to downsize, so like if your kids have left and gone off to college, or like your husband died and now you don't need that full big house yourself, if you can afford to downsize, give up the home that you own to a black or brown family, preferably a family with generational poverty. So,
Is that your phone making that tone?
I don't hear a tone.
That's so strange. I have nothing else.
But I hear a fan going.
I don't hear a fan. I just hear this kind of a tone that's like,
well, that's a drag.
Bong. So whatever.
That's a drag.
I don't know what it's coming from. Sorry, I
hope
didn't mean to interrupt.
Having to hear that tone out there. But anyways, if you can afford to downsize, just give up your home to a black or brown family. Number 5. So we're hitting the halfway point. White people. If any of the people that you intend to leave your property to are racist assholes, change your will and will your property to a black or brown family, preferably a family from generational poverty. So I don't know how many times I have never, ever seen grandparents who think that grandchildren are like racist. It goes the other way all the time. I mean, there's always people who think that the generations above them are set in their stupid ways and stuff, and like they came from a time when that was acceptable or that was cool. But I've never seen it go the other direction. I just can't even imagine the scenario where that's basically punishing yourself. Like before I die, and I could go tell my kids that they're fucking little assholes who should respect black people, but I'd rather just no. I'm going to give my shit away to other black people and tell my children to fuck themselves. A ridiculous request. Only have 2 minutes. Okay, wait. I still got 5 more of these. 6, white people. Rebudget your monthly so that you can donate to black funds for land purchasing. So just make a fund that every month you're like, black people, need a 41st acre. So let's start chipping in our money into that. Number 7, white people, especially white women, because this is y'all specialty, Nosy Jenny and Kathy, and it actually says that. Get a racist fired. Y'all know what the fuck they be saying. You are complicit when you ignore them. Get your boss fired because they racist too. Number 8, backing up number 7, this should be easy, but all those sheetless Klan, Nazis, and other little dick white men will all be returning to work. Get their ass fired. Call the police, even if they just look suspicious. Like, you didn't have to hear that they were out there doing something. They look suspicious to you, so call the police on them. Number 9, okay, backing up number 8. If any white person at your work or as you enter in spaces and you overhear a white person praising the actions, first, get a pic. Get their name and more info. Hell, find out where they work. Get them fired. But certainly address them. And if you need to, you got hands. Use them. I mean, this was directed, I believe, towards white women. Especially the Nosy Jenny and Meddling Kathys. So this is all just backing up that one point. Like that white woman should be out there punching fellow fucking white people racists in the face. Last one on here, then we got to go to break. Commit to 2 things. Fighting white supremacy where and how you can. This doesn't mean taking up knitting unless you're making scarves for black and brown kids in need, because that is definitely the way to help kids, is to get them a scarf. I mean, please take up knitting to do that. And lastly, funding black and brown people at their work. So, you have your housing fund set aside. You're making sure they get that 41st acre. But you also need to make sure that you go by and be like, hello, Reggie, Reginald, I don't know, Paul, I don't know. I hope you have enough money to get to work this week. Here, $10 extra for gas. Just find some way to fund black people and their work. Fucking ridiculous. And I'm not going to do any of these things. I mean, I don't want to come off as like some type of racist Grinch, but I'm not going to do any of these things. Figure out some other list, and maybe I'll listen again.
When people are feeling their best, they glow, they shine, and they radiate. Made in California, Daisy Hemp Skincare was one of the first companies to recognize the unique and powerful benefits of hemp seed oil when used on the skin. For years, they've been making quality, all-natural, vegan products, and they're never tested on animals. The complete range utilizes the complementary effects of hemp seed oil, Dead Sea salt, turmeric, and green tea. Each of these ingredients has powerful healing properties alone, but when combined, they work magic. I'm Tanya Watts for Z420 TV. Check out Daisy Hemp online at daisyhemp.com. Thanks for watching.
Well, I mean, we got a third segment. I can still do it
Hi,
too.
I'm Vicki Abelson.
Who the fuck is Vicki Abelson?
Hello. I wrote a book called Don't Jump. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and my fucking mother. Not my mother, Andy Stone's mother. Andy Stone is my heroine.
We'll be okay. We'll have it for the
And
next
she was
segment.
addicted to everything pretty much except heroin.
Oh my God. Oh yes. She just totally captures the excitement of rock stars.
And famous athletes and famous comedians. Sort of an insider's view from the outside.
The warmth and wit of Vicky's writing knocked me out. In a good way, not like Cosby. Too soon?
Don't jump. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and my fucking mother.
Damn, that was going to be the name of my book.
Vicki wrote a book?
Vicki Abelson's long-awaited new book, Don't Jump, is finally here. Don't miss it.
It'll only take us about 15 seconds to be on the
Who
two.
the fuck is Vicki Abelson?
Trump is saving America, and all Americans should pray for his continued success. It's a position held by Grand Theft Audio, their devilishly handsome Jake Belcher,
How are we supposed to believe that part
bolstered
when
by
you
the
already said the other part?
razor-sharp wit of Brant Thoman. Grand Theft Audio airs live on Zinna TV Wednesdays at 5 p.m. If any of you tune in after that, well,
So we don't know which parts to believe.
okay,
because
so
of-
no, because that's tongue in cheek. That's my tongue is in my cheek, I hope.
Oh, all right, party people. We're back here on Grand Theft Audio. This is Jake Belcher.
And I'm Brant Thoman.
And, okay, we'll keep...
Bill, I'm Brant Thoman.
That's right. And Patrick, shit indeed. And all these other people commenting, I just don't have time. But thank you so much for engaging with us. And if you ask some questions, we'll do our best to actually answer them. Okay, so let's get into some other stuff that happened this week. This was a big fight weekend, as there was a whole bunch of lunatics who thought that someone can come from outside of a sport and enter a sport for the first time and take on the best ever and beat them. And apparently, there's also a lot of like racial undertones to this fight as well. Like they've definitely sold that. Like, Brent, did you get a chance to watch any of the money fight, the Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather?
No, I saw a couple of little clips and such at wherever it was I was that night. Somebody had it on their phone, and I believe I got to see some of it as they were as it was going on.
Well, I did not order it myself.
Right.
I found I can find almost a way of streaming anything online. This was about the easiest to stream event I've ever seen in my life. There's a platform out there called Periscope, and Periscope had 50 feeds all showing the fight for free. The room that I was in, it was Allegra. She had a room that eventually turned into 35,000 people watching her Crystal City stream. And that's $3.5 million in lost revenue. I mean, if they got the full $100 for each one of those, and that was just one of 50 streams that was
Right.
going on.
Imagine if they had been willing to pay a single dollar to that girl.
Sure. Okay, that's true. But if they made it $5 instead of $100, don't you think a lot of those people would have just paid the $5 instead
Sure.
of trying to
I do
stream
believe
it
that.
themselves, and they would have made that much money probably anyways?
I believe that there will always be that small percentage that will try to save the $5 and find the streaming. It's just the way they are. It's just the way they're wired. But yes, if you were to drop the price to something that was more affordable, I think you'd definitely see a lot more people tuning in and paying for the pay-per-view.
Well, the fight, it was kind of shit, man. I mean, it was exactly expected. It was something where somebody who didn't really know what they were doing was never going to beat the best, but he did a good job in staying up. I think that I feel that Conor McGregor probably or Floyd Mayweather probably put a bet on himself to take him down late in the fight. Like, I'll take him down in the 9th or later and give himself some more money, because that's just the type of person that I think that he is. I think that he's confident enough that he can say, I can keep this bum standing for 8 rounds and know that I can take him out in the end. That's just my feeling on it. Now, the fight beforehand was much more interesting. They had the protege to Floyd Mayweather, this guy named, I think his name was Jay Davis. What was really interesting about him was that he was not going to be shown up by not being the main event. So he's in there doing all these like MMA type things, going in and grappling and getting around like he was going to get around his fighter and do something more than just the so I want to see this guy who's 10 years younger than Floyd Mayweather, than Conor McGregor, come into the MMA world and try like his first fight in MMA against Conor McGregor. Now there's a lot of money for whoever wants to be the first boxer, like, that has some skill behind him to make that step.
Well, I think we've seen other boxers, but they weren't successful boxers. I think you're right. I think we haven't seen like
End of their
champion.
career. Yeah.
Sure,
this guy is undefeated, just like Floyd Money Mayweather is.
Sure,
and he looked like he was real butthurt and jealous that he was not as featured in the press and stuff as the stars were.
Sure. Now, it's not going to pay as well as Floyd's payday is, but that's
still pay pretty well.
Still pay, absolutely. But you mean you're after 50 fights, Floyd can make that kind of money. Sure, you're undefeated and you're an up and comer and you're looking good. That's great. But like you said, crossing over, you're that lower end of the paycheck this time.
If he had a vagina, it would work out much better for him. That's a total throwaway thing. Go look up why Amy Schumer is now getting paid exactly as much as Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock are for specials on Netflix. I'm not going to get into it, but it's fucking ridiculous. All right, what else happened this week in the fighting world? I don't want to stay in the fighting world. I didn't want to bring footage of it because these people are notoriously litigious. But there was the big, basically the Mexican WrestleMania was this weekend. It's Triple Mania. It is the AAA wrestling down in Mexico. And the main event did not, the female main event did not go well. There is a wrestler down there named Sexy Star. She's famous in America as part of Lucha Underground. We actually got to see her a few weeks ago out at about a month or so, maybe a little
2 months ago now?
Yeah,
at the Bar Wrestle?
At Bar Wrestling, so that was pretty awesome. But she has not yet publicly defended her actions and what she's done here, but she started for real fighting in the match. Like, she started going for real arm bars and for real punches, and then she went. They call it going into business for yourself, and she went into business for herself. And now, the amazing thing about this is when it's happened in the past with, say, Bruiser Brody versus Lex Luger, or like these famous things where a wrestler has just had enough and is going to take the fight. There hasn't been social media for other wrestlers to react to it. So it's crazy how many professional wrestlers are like, it's fake, man. As soon as you start being real, like you gotta go. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. It's such a different world that we live in now, where all these people who we wouldn't have had to hear Joey Ryan who flips people with his dick, or we wouldn't have had to hear Low Key, who's a little midget who and the guy's, oh, you're fucking breaking my chest. You're breaking my chest. Like,
right.
Pretend that it's that anyone even thinks it's real in the first place. It's lunacy. All right, we're gonna go to the break. Now, I'm not sure what I'm gonna cover on the backside. I may get into the Pro Wrestling Guerrillas Battle of Los Angeles, which I'm going to this weekend, but I probably won't. I'll just say go and check it out, you jealous bastards. We're gonna come back on the other side with maybe the most worst, shocking, crazy video we've ever had on GTA. And Brent's got to find it on the break. So, ha 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 ha.
From home and you're on the street. You've been ripped off, you've been used, and you could be killed. There is a way out. There is a way off the street. Not tomorrow, now. Runaway Hotline will get you off the street. Call Runaway Hotline, toll free, anytime, day or night. Runaway Hotline gets your message to those who care. Call now and get off the street.
I start. Hi, I'm Moxie.
And I'm Nicole, and we're the ladies of Suicide Girls Radio, the world's leading BYOB radio show. Pour a glass of your favorite tipple and tune in on Wednesday nights between 8 and 9 p.m. as we discuss life, liberty, and the pursuit of free nipples. Oh, just flash it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? People think flashing your tits is easy, right? And it's actually kind of hard.
You're watching Z420 TV. We take the high road.
Hello, party people, back here on Grand Theft Audio. This is Jake Belcher.
Brant Thoman.
And, yeah, we do have some other stuff to cover on the show here today. Now, I'm not sure... I'm really debating even getting into it or not. Brant reminded me that I said I didn't even want to get into this on the air. That was my previous declaration, right?
When we first discussed this topic, this was something you said that you weren't that you didn't think we would bring up on the air. Let's put it that way.
That's true. I didn't, but as the controversy around this video has grown more and more over the last couple of days since it was shot this last weekend, it's just I think that it deserves to be looked at and seen. There is a lot of people out there, who feel. I mean, it's like, do I even care? I don't. Gosh, it's a real tough one, man. All this belly aching over even talking about it and bringing it up, because like, kind of, what's the point? I guess what's the point is deception. I don't know, man. Okay, so Brant,
I have it queued up. I have it queued up. If you want to run it, you can run it. I have not seen the video in its entirety myself, so this will be new to me.
Yeah.
But you have discussed this in the past, and you have other stuff that you said that would back it up. So if this is what you feel like you need to reveal to America,
I need it, and I'm not revealing it. I'm just reporting something. Or I'm just passing on.
You're passing on information that has been disseminated. Okay.
Right. And look, there's a lot of women who have body issues and feel that, like, how come I can't have the body of our former first lady. Like, they're jealous of her arms and how toned they stay, and like the width of her shoulders and how big she is, and like what a powerful woman she is. And you don't need to be. Are you jealous of me? Like,
okay,
I mean, you shouldn't be, because we're not the same thing, right? Okay, Brent, show this video, man. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man, can't even believe we're doing. Okay, it's gonna be okay. Great. Yeah, here we go. So maybe we're running on replay a couple of times. So this is Michelle Obama coming out of visiting her daughter at Harvard last weekend, and there is something definitely bouncing around in the front of her pants.
Okay, number one. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying for sure that's a penis, but it may be like maybe she likes penis. Let's see it again. Can we see it again?
Sure.
I mean, well, yeah. Okay, what do you think of this?
Honestly, it's hard to tell it's even her.
Okay, well, definitely with the audio, like coming out right before her, like there's no audio in this version, but that's Barack.
See, I couldn't even tell it was him.
Well, yeah, and then.
But that's it. This is because it's the close-up. So it is the close-up.
There's a crowd standing around. Barack, Michelle. But it's like
You don't think it could just be the folds in the clothing? They've got two daughters.
But why is
here's the thing. This is why she can't. There's no way that she can be a man.
Yes.
Because I don't believe that it would be possible through the whole vetting process of becoming the potential president, the nominee, like he had to go through. Jesus Christ, my phone is blowing
I think that they
up.
knew, though. I think people knew, and like okay. So here's some other things to go around this. There was one of their friends. She was a famous comedian. Her name was Joan Rivers, and like one of the very last things she did before she died, she called out Michelle for being a tranny and saying that Barack was gay. This stuff doesn't really matter, but it's still just like I think that there is a deception that has happened here that is interesting.
What deception do you think it is?
If you're gay, just be gay. Like, if you're with,
So you believe that Barack Obama is gay?
Did you see that video? I mean,
dude, again,
Brett, have you ever had your dick knocked around your pants?
There is no way.
Yeah.
That they would have been able to fake hospital records.
There's so many pictures of her where her bulge is falling out, and like, I'm not going to analyze everything here. I just want to find this one video. There's plenty more. You know what else there is? There's also lots of video where Barack is being interviewed about his where he's like multiple different interviews, multiple different times where he's saying that me and my Michelle, it's like everything. These things all build a case together, you know. It's odd.
So you're saying that the former president and former first lady are both seriously on the DL and had to be so that they could become the president and first lady, and that now, are you saying that maybe if this is true, they should come out? There would have to be records somewhere in regards to the adoption of Malia and the other one.
Sasha,
thank you, Sasha. I
think that's probably true. There probably are records somewhere.
Yeah, but there's also records that say that she gave birth to them. There's just no way that is not.
Well,
it's.
They're pretty good at faking records, man.
Sure. You know what? You're right. But what politician is it? What politician is it?
I don't care about faking records and all that stuff.
Right.
What was in her pants there?
I don't know. Maybe she was stealing a banana that she didn't want everyone to see.
There's definitely something in there that was flopping around like a dong, for sure. I mean,
there's nothing
a banana's
for sure
like a dong?
about it.
Are you saying that a banana's not like a dong?
Sure. I don't even think it was a banana. I don't think I saw her grab at her crotch like something was obviously bothering her. I don't think it was her dick and balls sticking to her leg.
There's
that she was
more
adjusting.
video out there, man.
Dude, there's after how many years
Yes.
of having to hide this?
Yes.
That walking out of something where she knows there's going to be cameras and hundreds, if not thousands,
Maybe
of
she just
people.
took a big step. Have you ever tried to tuck your balls back, like behind your legs, and like pretend? Have you ever done the
Tommy Lee thing?
Yeah.
No.
They don't stick up there forever, man. If you take like a big step or like something like you could easily dislodge your dong from hanging down. A sweaty day and like it just and it happens, man. I'm not saying sure that this is 100% what is happening right now, but it makes me at least question it a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay,
what do we want? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've been
What's
on you
going
for
on?
a while.
Yeah, I apologize. I wish you'd said something because I wasn't busy listening to what you had to say there,
Sure.
and it's just like, okay.
Hey, here the good news is we have all your reactions to what I was saying right on stage.
Sure,
Every little
you're
grimace
absolutely right. I was watching him too. I was like, oh, look at this.
This isn't good.
This isn't good.
This isn't good. Michelle, and Brock, your secret is safe with me. It certainly
No,
is.
it's not.
What? How do you know that?
Because you just proved that to be otherwise.
I didn't.
If it was a secret, it isn't
it wasn't
anymore.
A secret, okay, it wasn't a secret. That's right, because it's been exposed here on Grand Theft Audio. Like it's
been brought to your attention.
It's been our job to bring this information to you this week. Okay, so did we live up to the title of this episode? Brent, did you see what this episode's called?
Yes, I did at one point. Just a second. It's not. It's not showing me the name for some reason here.
Well, I named this episode, Well, That Was Unpleasant.
Yes. That's right. That's what you did name it.
So at some point I became, I'll tell you the truth. At the end there, when I was wavering between talking about this on the air, there were two things in my mind. Either we were going to get into Michelle Obama or we were going to get into our fantasy football draft this weekend, which, trust me, you want to hear about even. There's nothing worse than listening to somebody else talk about their fantasy football team. It's,
right.
It's just.
I mean, you and I, because when we're in the same league, we face off against, and even actually, we talk about other leagues that we play in, where we talk about how I had a hell of a week, or I got the shit kicked out of me. But that's because we're having that conversation about.
It's happening organically.
Yes.
The whole idea, though,
to try and get other people involved and interested in it is just not going to happen.
I've actually had parties in the last couple of years where we've had some fantasy football people show up and totally ruin conversations at parties because they wanted to get into analyzing batting average when instead we're all like, no, dude, let's get high and like try to trick that chicken to get her titties out.
Yeah, and it's early June and we're talking about fantasy football drafts and it's just like, what, dude? We're months away.
Yeah, too far.
I don't have time for it.
I would like to say that this is coming up on one of the top 3 very best weekends in Los Angeles. I'd say that Labor Day, Memorial Day, and Thanksgiving are the 3 best weekends in Los Angeles because everyone leaves. It's wonderful driving around town for the next 3-4 days while everybody's off doing their last hurrah of the summer is going to be wonderful. Same thing happens Memorial Day and Thanksgiving. As I mentioned earlier, I have Los Angeles that I'm going to this weekend. That's the wrestling tournament. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to predict here on air Keith Lee wins. We'll see if I was right. That's one guy, so if I managed to pull it off, that's pretty good. Lastly, this is also the kickoff of, for me, the best sporting season this weekend as USC kicks off to I don't know if they'll kick off or receive on the opening possession, but against Western Michigan, I am scared shitless of Western Michigan, guys. No. We will have some good games coming up. A couple weeks from now, we take on Texas, who I absolutely.
You know what? Western
hate.
Michigan, you probably love because it will start off with a W for your season.
It better be a big score. If it's not a big score, if it's not something where 45 points has covered what they ultimately win by, so like let's say it's 60-14 or something.
So you're saying
that.
they have you're giving their margin of win has to be 45 points or more
to even be like, oh, good job. Because this is Western Michigan. I mean, honestly, Brant, you and I, like,
Sure.
like, we have a chance. We got a fighter's chance against Western Michigan ourselves.
We probably have a chance of getting on that team,
Yeah.
and then having to
That
face
sounds
off
more
against the
accurate.
Trojans,
That
which
sounds
would
more
that doesn't sound like it'd be very fun.
Actually, we're a couple of old men now. We're gonna get flattened by these
By any of them,
22-year-olds
yes.
who are like wearing pads
They're
and stuff.
fucking 19-year-olds, buddy. We're just gonna be taken out by teenagers.
I think that they stay around till their senior year. Like when
Some of them, sure.
all of them stick around till their senior year. At like a Western Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Because like
if they have a scholarship, sure.
No one there
it's
is
a degree.
moving on. I mean, very, very few. I'll eat my words. There's no first-round draft picks out of Western Michigan. Okay, like, no, and that's the reason you leave early is to get that big money. So it is not happening. I think that's basically it. Battle of Los Angeles. The USC kickoff. Black Lives Matters and their ridiculous wants. Michelle Obama's Michael Obama's vagina, and Michelle Obama's vagina. I'm very confused. Also, this weekend, to go check out a new bar here in Los Angeles. It is the Tim Burton Beetlejuice bar. So,
The Beetlejuice Bar.
Yeah, Beetlejuice bar. So looking forward to checking. Have a great week. We will be here next week, but our other shows won't be because they are all pussies and they're taking time off for Labor Day.
You are watching Z420 TV, the future of cannabis broadcasting.